Hey y'all, we are back on the internet here on YouTube. Still, I thought we were gonna get kicked off a long time ago, and certainly we have been crippled, technically speaking, if we did want to make this into a big enterprise here on YouTube. And I think we've gotten pretty dang big. We got a lot of people together, and I appreciate y'all on YouTube. All right, we're about to get the show underway. I did want to kick out a jam, actually. And I could have sworn there was a more recent one from the man, an entertainer. I gotta say, as far as teachers go, in my experience, the best ones have been entertainers. And we're gonna hear a classic hit from the man Machete Attack in a second. But I want to talk about the fact is that you can go to my D Live right now. I've been leaving links or trying to leave links. I'll see if I can leave a link again to my D Live in case you hadn't seen it. I did try to go on there earlier, just right now, right before I did this. Tried to go on there and I was messing around with Streamlabs and I was incurring some difficulties. One thing is that I want to be able to put a split screen between me and like an article. You can see me and then you can also see me reading the article. You can see the article that I'm reading and stuff because they're going to be wild. They're going to be entertaining. Of course, there's going to be pictures and stuff so sometimes there'll be visuals, and it's going to be appropriate, and we're fixing to do that. From what I understand, it's something that I could be capable of on Streamlabs, on actually D Live through Streamlabs. All right, I haven't perfected their technology though. I really don't know what's going on. So earlier when I jumped on, I noticed, I tried to go back to the replay, and y'all could go if you're subscribed over on D Live. I got 2 followers. If you're over there, you can check out the replays and see if they're replaying. I tried to replay the replay, and it just was not replaying. Right? It is stuttering and buffering. I'm not sure on which end of my problem that was, but it's definitely my problem. I had to see, and I don't think the articles were popping up and stuff like that. I had to fidget with some stuff, all right? So, meanwhile, I thought, well, I'm already geared up to do a broadcast. Might as well do a broadcast, all right? So, I'm about ready. All right, we can jump into it, but I did want to check out this jam, all right, because I haven't heard it for a while too, and just to get us kind of in the mode, see if anybody shows up to this mug. I know I've been saying I wouldn't be here, but I'm still here, all right? And so, I'll be back in a second. Hold on 1 second. See, YouTube's been buffering as well. So I don't know what's the dang deal. Stuff's been buffering lately, all right? Might just be some sort of problem that could be dealt with as far as like in the towers and stuff like that. Could be just a little problem. And I'm not feeding on the internet or anything. I just noticed, and I don't know what it's doing right now. Like, as far as my stream, I don't know if my stream could be buffering. But certainly YouTube's been buffering. And YouTube, for myself, I just had to say, I know there's no one out there to confer with. But YouTube's been buffering like crazy the past couple of days. Like right now, for example.
Prince Charles mixed up in the Ginny Savile scandal. Epstein and Prince Andrew, who's the Queen's bloody mother. In the 1880s, Prince Eddie was Jack the Ripper. There's one law for them, one law for them, one law for them, and another law for us. One law for them, one law for them, one law for them, and another law for us. The mock's in the floor, there's no Brexit, the pedos won a Trump impeachment. 9/11 was an inside job, and Bill Clinton's on the Leader Express flight logs. One law for them, one law for them, one law for them, and another law for us. One law for them, one law for them, one law for them, and another law for us. We've got to storm their castles with pitchforks and torches. We've got to look after our sons and daughters. Pedophiles, they rule this earth, but we're going to put them under the dirt. There's one law for them, One loss for them, one loss for them, and another loss for us. One loss for them, one loss for them, one loss for them, and another loss for us. There's one loss for them, one loss for them, one loss for them, and another loss for us.
Oh yeah. Thank you for humoring me out there. I really just had to get in the zone, you know. And I know a lot of people probably did as well out there. Would dig that jam. All right. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure, if I had to guess, that everybody who comes through this channel believes that exact word for word, everything that Machete Mark just spit it out over, the internet. Word for word, all right? Fans of that. We can appreciate that. I wonder if we're going to see that, like in band form one day, all right? Wouldn't that be something? But the thing is, there's not all that many Machete Marks out there. You know what I'm saying? It's few and far between, you guys. I noticed there's someone up in the building. I appreciate you. All right, we're gonna do a kind of short thing. What's going on in here? A whole lot of messing around. A whole lot of mess around. All right, this and that and the other. We're not even sure actually. We're not sure what's going down yet. I have some stuff lined up. We have more than enough things to go over tonight. You rest assured on that. But also, if there's something going out there, something going on in y'all neck of the woods, Philip, let me know. I need to know. All right? I'm relying on you safety first, but at the same time, I need to know what's going on where you're at. All right? And we're going to triangulate where I'm at and what's going on over here. All right? There's certainly a lot of things going on in my particular neck of the woods. I'm not sure how much we're going to discuss tonight necessarily about San Antonio because I don't remember all the different things that I got lined up. All right? We're kind of just diving in there blind, all right? Which sometimes is the best way, I noticed. It is the best way sometimes, all right? Because we feel it out, we don't exactly know where we're going. As human beings, we don't exactly know where we're going sometimes, right? We just kind of feel our way through. In the meantime, I got some screenshots, maybe just a handful of screenshots. Oh man, what in the world? Screenshots? Where are my screenshots? That's crazy. They got me on albums. Well, I guess here they are right here. All right, not many. You can see right there. It's only a handful. It's not going to take too long. But I just wanted to talk about these things, spit about these things before we talk about what it is that we're supposed to come here to talk about, right? The case for letting senators vote secretly on Trump's fate. Now, this, I believe, is by CNN, so it's all fake news. It's super fake. All right, but it's over the top. I might suggest for everybody's consideration that it's way over the top. I mean, it is super Civil War type stuff. I mean, it is bad. What? They're just going on and just promoting any sort of thing. Bad things. Secret bad things to decide Trump's fate. And I'm sure he's got a whole big explanation for it. He's probably got a lot of legalese for that. All right? Here's something that's really, we had to mention it. It doesn't make no sense, all right? I hope I don't imagine there's any children out here watching this, all right? But vegans have higher drives and may be better in bed, all right? And then you could already see what they're doing with this image and stuff. This by Live Kindly is like obviously weird, disgusting clickbait and stuff, and it's disgusting and weird. And it's a lie. I'm here to tell you it's definitely a lie, all right? I don't have any scientific evidence. I'm pretty sure it's a dang lie. Not only that, some people are vegan and some people are ultra vegan. And, it's all like it gets to be something like of a virtue signaling type pyramid. Anyways, single mom drops over 150 pounds after dealing with the brutal insults. We don't have too many screenshots to go over, y'all, but I wanted to cover these handful. I found them very recently. But this was off fake news. Single mom drops over 150 pounds after dealing with brutal insults. And I'm sure they go all over it. It says a young British mom and stuff like that. That's terrible, y'all. I just wanted to weigh in on it a little bit just to say, it's kind of weird, but it's It's like you know how they're like, they say, don't fat shame, don't fat shame. I'll be fat shaming and stuff. And meanwhile, I don't do it too much. I don't even talk about it very much. But this would be one of those instances in which, like, the fat shaming went right. Like, for example, this lady, she's a lot more smaller, and probably, I would have to guess, a lot more healthier. All right, probably it's a lot of, and it's people of all sort of shapes and sizes, I'm sure. But to lose all that weight, apparently she could lose all that weight, and so she did, and it's probably a lot better for her health. All right, so that's what shaming does. It'll change your life for the better sometimes, I would imagine. I mean, in my experience, it has. I think. All right, I've been shamed, and if people got me, if people, elders have sat me down or been on the internet and told me some things that I never really thought about. All right, and shamed the crap out of me, and then I was like, you know what? I shouldn't even do those things. It's shameful, all right? But everybody's got their own thing. Anyways, shout out to the 3 people up in the building. I see you out there. The thing is, y'all, we went to D Live earlier, and you can go to my D Live account. Hopefully, you got it bookmarked or whatever. I went to my D Live earlier, and I tried to operate it. I did not do so good at it, and that's what's the problem. That's why I wasn't on D Live. That's why I'm not on D Live right now, actually. I was planning to do it, all right, and I would have left y'all all out in the dust, and you would have had to see my replay and stuff like that. But it actually did not go over too well. Certain technicals that I got to figure out that for some reason I just haven't figured out yet. I've been fiddling around with it. We've been making steps in the right direction, got progress and stuff like that. So please believe I'm not dropping it at all. Right? I'm about to be up on D Live exclusively, and that's where you're gonna find me. But it is gonna. I'm still figuring it out. All right? I don't know why. I'm not very tech literate. I'm halfway tech literate. It just takes forever. All right, shout out to the 4 people up in the building. It's going to be kind of a small broadcast, and now there's definitely some things that I want to share with y'all out there, and I don't remember what they are, so we're going to get to them. I got them lined up. Don't you worry. I got them bookmarked. Ohio doctor charged with 25 murders. Sues hospital for defamation. I don't know anything about this, all right, but check out this headline. I did read some of the article and stuff. I familiarized myself just a little bit with it. But Ohio doctor charged with 25 murders sues hospitals for defamation. I know a lot of people out there, especially the 4 people up in the building, they probably already understand, that don't be an organ donor. Don't do anything like this. Donating your body to science, that's stupid. It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of people who probably feel a lot of different ways. Some people might get very emotional about it. Some people might, in fact, be undisturbed by it, like not moved by it. As far as, people might get killed up in the hospital. And I brought it up before. You might get murdered in the hospital, technically speaking. All right. That's not to say that this guy did it, but he's been charged with doing it. All right. They're going to find out in a court of law with due process whether or not he murdered at least 25 people. And what they mean is like, maybe that person could have lived, but during processes in which somebody could have lived, he just went ahead and murdered them. And he used a pretty kind of controversial drug out there. I know a lot of people talk about it. It's that fentanyl. He was using that fentanyl, and a lot of people ask, what do people use fentanyl for? What do they even do that? Do they even do that? Yeah, they do. And this guy does, all right? He's been charged with it, so he's innocent right now, all right? For everybody out there, he's going through due process. We're going to find out he's guilty for murdering all these people and basically, just kind of doping them up into their death and just not saving their life. Now, the thing is, it might not be exactly that. There's always 2 sides of the story at least. So a lot of people would say that what he was doing, to include, the people working with him, was saying that what he was doing is just like, oh man, it was not, nobody was coming back from it. Like, they were pretty much gone. These people and their families all signed waivers and said, hey, look, they're not coming back. We're cease and desist, basically. Do not resuscitate type stuff. And in those procedures, he gave customers, or whatever you call it, fentanyl so that they would get all doped up and they wouldn't be experiencing excruciating pain. All right, these are sort of situations that I gotta say I'm not knee deep in, like in my personal life, in my career. I don't see them for myself, but I have heard of them. I've been kind of familiar with this sort of stuff, and it does get wild out there. I can assure you, things get wild. And all sort of things happen. I tell people, man, you sign up for that organ donor card, you might wind up going ahead and getting murdered up in the hospital, right? I didn't make that up, all right? If I'm the first person that's told you. And so that's what they're kind of accusing this guy of. Meanwhile, I gotta assure you, if this guy was guilty of what he's been accused of, he's in a system, a network of people who murder people and they take their dead bodies, and maybe they chop them up, or maybe they just sell the whole body or something. And don't even worry about it. Where it goes and stuff, it's going to science. That's where it's going. Don't you even worry about it. So I wanted to bring that up. That's going to be something I guess we'll keep an eye on. Here's the thing. I've been hearing a lot of news for a long time about Broward County, about southern Florida in general. All right. I got the lowdown for people out there. I got Google rigged up and YouTube rigged up to where they tell me a lot about it. And so this one I wanted to point out, Fort Lauderdale fisherman gets bad infection, fishing in sewage contaminated water, blah, blah, blah. All right. He should not have been doing that. Here's the thing. I've been following the news. Like I said, loosely, I got a rig tour. I get all it's okay. More than a handful of times, more than a couple handful of times, I've seen articles that are talking about in Southern Florida, in that particular area, Fort Lauderdale, maybe Miami-Dade, these kind of areas, all right, Broward County. The water is all messed up due to like some flooding and some stuff getting messed up, and the water is all messed up. It's full of sewage, and people have been like having to boil their water and do all sort of crazy things to their water in that particular area, and it sounds like a dang nightmare, dude. For weeks and weeks, for a couple months now, I've been hearing about this sort of stuff. And this guy, he's like, I'm gonna go fishing. And that did not work out well for him. That's not even a bad picture right there. I've seen a worse picture of that guy's leg. Wow, that's what I gotta wonder about. I was hearing so much about sewage everywhere, and it's like a nightmare situation over there. And it's like, I hear about it, but this guy, did he even hear about it? Maybe he did hear about it. He's like, dude, I found a clean lake. Don't worry, I found this. It's awesome here. It's not swimming in sewage. All right, he found out the hard way that yes, it was swimming in sewage. All right, mind y'all, I'm going to keep up with y'all's comments. All right, so if there's something that you want to interject, every like few minutes, I'm going to make sure to come back to the comments because that's what I look forward to the most, y'all. To tell you the truth, that's what I look forward to the most. It's the comments because it leads me in the right direction. I know I got a lot of smart people out there, and as I tend to say, safety first, every time. All right, I saw this and I just want to point this out. I don't know anything about this. 3 children died in a Miami house fire. I don't know anything about it, right? And maybe you don't know anything about it, but I saw that and it's kind of interesting, all right? I'm sure that it's very interesting. It's very curious. And that I've heard so many stories, news items, if you will, in which children are dying in the fire, but nobody else, it's just the children dying in the fire. All right, so you can imagine the children are all alone in a house that catches on fire and they die in it. All right, so who's to say, because I haven't looked into it yet, but you can already kind of see where that road's going. I just listen to music all day. Oh man, I do that sometimes. I did that pretty much throughout Christmas, but also I was listening, actually, there is music intermixed with the internet and people saying certain stuff on Christmas, and it was all pretty entertaining. I had a delightful Christmas. Speaking of that, I bumped, amongst other things, that Kanye Sunday service. There's one in particular. He goes around the nation, I guess, maybe all over the world, and does these Sunday services, and they're all pretty good. But there's this one in particular from Los Angeles that I play over and over. I gotta admit to y'all, it's one of my secret nuggets. It's the Kanye West Sunday service, in which he's performing a lot of Jesus is King. Album material. And the thing is, it's very well directed. It's an amazing experience, and it took place in Los Angeles. It blows my mind. All right, freaking blows my mind. I play it over and over and over. Kind of obsessed with it, all right? Kind of obsessed with EA, all right? Philip says, hope you had a great Christmas. It was my birthday to blah. It was my birthday. It was my birthday to blah. What? It's my birthday to blah. Philip, I mean, I want to say that sounds familiar. Your birthday is on Christmas or around Christmas, all right? I know a lot of people are always like, "Oh yeah, those people, they're so unlucky. They're unfortunate. They don't get twice as many gifts. These people, they get it bad, all right, on Christmas." Does that feel good? That's what I want to know, all right? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different questions I can ask, but does that feel good? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are very proud to have been born on Christmas and stuff like that, and they feel the energy build up and they get into a rage of delightful positive feelings on that day. And there's a lot of people who feel kind of gypped in one way or another. Oh man, Brenda's in the building. Yeah, happy birthday. We're wishing you the best and stuff, especially on birthdays and every other day, to be honest with you and stuff. I gotta say, man, I celebrate Philip and I celebrate Brenda every day. All right. If I don't ever tell y'all that, I really do. All right. But let's see if we can't get down to some of the nitty gritty. To include actually two articles that were brought to my attention by a very dear contributor, and I encourage people out there to do this, to share with me certain news items and stuff like that. Right now, I got a limited amount of people who actually do that, and it's pretty cool, and I really appreciate it. At a certain point, if I get more people doing that, at a certain point, I won't be able to keep up with all of them. I just want to let y'all know I have not reached that point yet. It's still like, up for grabs. Get it while it's hot. You could jump in there and start, just give me all sort of details. And I'll include them in the broadcast. At a certain point, there's going to be a cutoff and I'll have to stop listening to people and I'll get all big headed. All right, I won't listen to none of y'all because I'll be too big, like PewDiePie. But anyways, these two articles that I want to jump through at right here at the jump. All right, they were brought to us by a dear contributor by the name of D, and sometimes D's up in the building. Maybe D's up in the building right now. Who's to say? But I wanted to cover these. There's a couple different ones. The ones that D sent me first, the one he sent me first, Florida Teacher Pension Fund owns. It's kind of interesting. Let's go to the headline. Let's read it up in big bold print. This is from the TampaBay.com Florida Politics Buzz. All right. Florida Teacher Pension Fund owns $528,000 in shares of AR-15 manufacturer. Now, we're not going to dive too deep into it and meticulate or whatever. We're not going to really try to judge these people so hard. But you could tell by the headline that would be kind of embarrassing. All right, especially for the teachers out there who are like staunchly against the gun rights of people, which is kind of funny in Florida, all right? It's not very popular, but some of these teachers out there, they might not like the AR-15. They might find it to be the boogeyman. All right, kind of find out. But that's how like stock markets work. That's how 401ks and all this work. That's how all this stuff you put in and you invest your money. If you have a good job with benefits and stuff like that, some sort of retirement plan, it might be invested in anything, just a whole swath of things, and you wouldn't even know, to include the AR-15, which I got to remind everybody out there is not a weapon of war, anyways. All right, so the whole argument doesn't even make sense. They don't use that in war. They use other stuff, man. I've heard of other stuff, but they use other stuff that's a little bit more powerful, a little bit more better. Florida Teacher Pension Fund owns 528,000, and see, that could be kind of embarrassing, I guess you would say, because their actual pensions rely on the success of sales of AR-15s, all right? Which honestly, it's like, I'm really not blaming anybody, all right? But as you can imagine, that's kind of funny, all right? Some people might be embarrassed by that, and that's why we brought it up. And the other article actually that was brought to my attention was something similar. That's kind of slightly embarrassing, all right? And so we're going to make note of that real quick before we talk about some other stuff. We got 7 people up in the building. I don't even believe it, y'all. 7 people up in the building, and I shouldn't even be on YouTube anymore. I should have been kicked off of YouTube All right, this should have been the end of YouTube a long time ago. All right, but I went on D Live earlier. I tried to go, and if you know where it's at, if you got it bookmarked, go ahead and check it out. I was trying to go through the replay and it wasn't working. There was some technical difficulties. I gotta stress to y'all, I want to get on D Live. If I can work out all the technical difficulties, I will get on D Live. All right, and y'all gonna have to see me over there. But in the meantime, we got that, and then we got this one right here. It's kind of funny, but it was also kind of old. All right, I think maybe both the articles were kind of old. But it's another thing that's a little bit embarrassing as far as did congressional candidate, you can watch this video, did congressional candidate destroy AR-15 on a video and or commit a felony? In a sense, she did, right? And it's one of those things, it's hearsay. I'm not saying or suggesting that she should be arrested. This congressional lady, she's all up in here. And this was a while back, all right? So it's an old video. I never heard of it, but I thought, yeah, it's pretty embarrassing, obviously. It's the kind of thing that they would do. And you see this lady out in the backyard, all right? I just want to talk about it a little bit. She's a congressional lady. She's going to do exactly what you think she's going to do. She's going to talk to the camera and be like, oh, man, I realize AR-15s, you can't have AR-15s anywhere because it's a weapon of war and stuff. And I can't believe that I even own it. And she's like, dude, even we own it. Me and my husband own it. And, you know, I told him he couldn't have it no more. And he was like, yeah, I agree. And so I'm here and I'm going to cut it on the internet. I guess we could play some of it. You might as well watch it. All right. It's not too long. I don't want to bore you, but it is what it is.
I'm Karen Mallard. I grew up in Wise County, surrounded by guns. Our family had guns my whole life.
We got guns. We like guns.
We use them for hunting, for protection, and recreation. A while back, my husband bought this AR-15. I wasn't happy about it, and after last week, I told him I wanted this gun out of my house, and he agreed.
That face show, it looks funny.
And then we saw Emma Gonzalez's speech.
Emma Gonzalez,
and we
realized a long time
we didn't want this gun in anybody else's house either. So today, we're going to destroy it.
Anyway, she goes ahead and she cuts the thing with the... It's kind of like the whole... It looks embarrassing. What are the neighbors thinking? Oh man. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Oh man. I should have known. Y'all, I'm sorry about that. I should have known they were going to blast our ears. They blasted my ears too, just so you know. I'm sorry about that. I totally forgot that this was going to be extremely loud and unnecessary. But anyways, it was kind of embarrassing, right? And technically, immediately to the authorities and had them dispose of it in the way that they had disposal facilities throughout major cities and maybe in small towns. Right, delivered it to the police. They went ahead and destroyed it. That takes all sort of money. I heard people talking about that a while back, actually. And they were talking about, you know, the fact is that takes taxpayer money, actually. The, you know, the effort that it takes to actually destroy all the weapons and stuff like that. And then, of course, you know, who knows if all the weapons actually get destroyed or who knows what really happens. But anyways, I was hearing about that and the boondoggle that could be as far as all the different taxpayer dollars, all right? So, y'all, we have a little bit lined up as far as things that I got bookmarked, all right? I don't even remember necessarily because I bookmarked them, then I fell my ass to sleep, all right, for a few hours, and then I woke up. I did some cooking and stuff. I tried to get on D Live, didn't work. Tried to get on YouTube, and now I'm here, all right? So that's basically where we're at. I don't even... hardly remember, but there's stuff, oh yeah, pertaining to machetes, alright, I know that was in the title, I remember now, machetes, alright, and I don't know about y'all, but I seem to be hearing a lot more about machetes. Here's the thing, I always heard stories about machetes, and more so, often it would be stories about like South America, or maybe Central America, alright, as far as the violence. People actually implementing that, but it's like, dude, now I hear about it a lot. I hear about it on a daily basis. We're just going to talk about a couple different ones, but that is kind of a theme that we got going here for tonight, all right? Let me check this out. Unwrapped by Brenda says, a sawed-off AR-15, though, I don't know how it makes sense. It's said to be very, very loud and obnoxious, all right? All right, and the thing is, I also wanted to mention on the other end, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense. It makes me cringe on every level to include, like, what's the husband saying exactly? First of all, this husband has also all sort of guns, apparently, and so now they have a grudge on the AR-15. It's obvious, shameless virtue signaling because you still have all sort of guns. It's like, dude, what the heck? And then so they're like, oh, I'm gonna destroy this. She's like, I'm gonna destroy this to make a name for my. I'm gonna go viral, honey. You want me to chop up your gun? And he's like, yeah, you should go viral, chop up my gun and stuff. We're gonna say that we're better people because we don't own this specific gun, even though we own all sort of guns that'll kill you in an instant, right? And it does not make any sense. And none of it makes any sense, and it's very loud and obnoxious. And she's all doing it on the side of her house. Her neighbor's probably like, what the hell's going on over there? Some sort of construction. All right, but then perhaps it'll make it a lot more dangerous, the actual weapon. And there's a reason why they made it illegal as far as sawing off the ends of guns and making them short. I don't even remember why that is, but it probably makes it a lot more less accurate and more dangerous and stuff like that. So they made it illegal. All right, she broke the law, but then again, she went ahead and followed the law, destroyed the gun, took all sort of taxpayer dollars. It doesn't make any sort of sense. All right, but we were talking about machetes tonight. All right, we want to talk a little bit about it. And as you can see, we got one at an Austin Taco Bell. I think that's the first one we're going to cover, and then we're just going to talk about, I guess, a couple other ones. Before we talk about at the end, I hope I don't forget, but while we got some time, I do want to mention the church shooting. It took place here in Texas, all right? We're going to save that towards the end, all right? Because I want that to be, I guess, what we walk away with, that Texas, I believe it is around Fort Worth, or it was a small community called White Settlement, but I want to say it was around Fort Worth. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. But meanwhile, let's start off with Machetes. Now, this is a story that I saw a while back, and I actually didn't look into it for a long time. I was aware of it for weeks, and I never looked into it. It was in the back of my head. Dude with the machete at Taco Bell, all the questions. Obviously, you would ask yourself, he's working at this, he's the employee of Taco Bell. So it's like, man, that's nuts. All right, and so I finally looked into it, and he's starting to customer with the machete. And I was reading some of it. Let's read a little bit of it, all right, just to kind of get a feel. In Austin, hopefully they don't play nothing. In Austin, Taco Bell employee was arrested Sunday after he was accused of threatening a customer at a drive-through window with a machete. Police were called to the restaurant on 502 W. William Cannon Drive around 5:39 p.m., all right? So this is kind of broad daylight. There, the victim said that he pulled up to the speaker box and attempted to place an order, and he stated that he had a hard time speaking with the employee, and he asked him, can you not hear? He asked the question, can you not hear, which could sound rude depending on how you're saying it, all right? Here in Texas, that could sound rude if you just said that. He then said the employee began cursing at him and told him, why don't you pull up and I'll show you what I have for you. I don't know why he would pull up at that point, but he does. He says, when the man approached the window, he observed the employee leaning on the window counter with an object in his hand, and he continued to pull up. He stopped just before the window, which is a great idea, when he realized that an object was a short black machete, and we're going to have to discuss that. I haven't seen pictures of the machete, but that's actually under debate whether or not it was a short black one. At this point, the victim stated that the employee continued to curse at him and began swinging the weapon, striking the driver's side mirror, and he immediately drove away and called 911. That's probably the best idea, right? I wouldn't want to pursue that sort of thing, but that's pretty much exactly what happened. They came to find out the young man's name, Samuel Hammett. He's 21 years old. And he ran to the break room. He got a machete, like obviously you would do if you had a problem and stuff with someone hearing you at the intercom. So that's what he does. He runs to the break room, gets it, and he is flailing it all around. And he's like talking big stuff. He's got a machete. And the thing is, they discuss how big it is. And I'm not sure exactly. I don't know what they mean exactly because the way that they said it, I seen it in an article right here. It says, It was well sharpened and it was about 18 inches long. Obviously, I mean that's definitely like machetes are supposed to be long, but 18 inches. Can you imagine that? And are they saying an 18-inch blade? That's what I wonder. Or if they're talking about the whole knife is 18 inches. That's what. If the whole machete was 18 inches, okay, yeah, that's a short machete. But if it's the blade is 18 inches, that's a big old machete. That can basically almost cut you in half, right? He could swipe it so hard and almost cut you in half with that sort of thing, right? So that's taking place at a Taco Bell in Austin, and it's just to say, I've been hearing it for a while, different various occasions when the machete gets broken out, and that's not a good sign for society. I gotta say, it has already been going on in like South America, Central America. There's plenty of stories about that, and I would prefer that there's no stories about that in North America. In fact, that's what most people are running away from when they run to North America, right? Anyways, I want to see this by Brenda. She's got a big one for us, and I appreciate it. It says, I kid in my town, actually got macheted by, oh, a kid got macheted by someone a few years ago, and we gave the aggressor the nickname Machete Nick. Dang, right? But it did mess the other guy up really bad. I mean, you do not mess up someone a little bit with a machete, right? That doesn't happen. So pretty sure meth was involved. I would bet you that it had something to do with it, all right? These people, and on this other end, with this guy at Taco Bell, something was involved, all right? And then he tried to like play it off. He actually tried to hide the machete. He tried to call it something else. He tried to hide it in the dumpster. It's videotaped all over, and so they easily found out immediately what happened. And so he's gonna be charged with that. It's like a machete, dude. That's like over the line. So like I like the way you said machete. Oh wait, well that's how I don't know. That's how we had to say it, San Antonio. That's how we are required to say that word, and it's very deadly. It's deadly dangerous. All right, can't stress that enough. And I wanted to talk about that, and also another thing, because you probably heard about machete in the news somewhere. I'm pretty sure. I bet you have. So next thing we're going to talk about is this Hanukkah stabbing suspect charged with federal hate crimes. All right, that might have been with the machete as well during the Hanukkah one, and I'm trying to understand. There's so much violence going on, and I'm trying to take it all in. And I believe that happened in a rabbi's home, if I'm not mistaken. We're gonna look at it in a second, but it happened in a rabbi's home that was right outside his synagogue. Like they're connected basically. Came in, started. He might have had a machete, and I'm not sure. He might have actually just had a knife. We're gonna look back into it, but I noticed that, and I also noticed this one. It's kind of funny right here. Man found hiding under pile of clothes. Let's see, what does it say? Pile of clothes after Machete Attack in Union, deputies say. In Union, and I'm not sure where's that. I bookmarked it, but I don't really remember. This is South Carolina. All right, so you can imagine methods involved on this one. All right. So notice the correlation. We're getting an idea that there's some sort of a communion between machetes and methamphetamines. All right. Attack in Union, deputies say, and they see the guy. I guess he's in a mask, but they found the dude. I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of him accused of injuring another man with a machete. Was found hiding under a pile of clothes. And it's like, dude, that's got to be a dirty house. You know what I'm saying? Everybody out there. I mean, if you have a pile of clothes that a grown man can hide under, all right, or attempt to hide under, it's like, dude, you need to get some laundry done, right? But he's hiding under a pile of clothes in the laundry room of his home, according to the report of Union County Sheriff's Office. Deputies said they were called Sunday night to a home in Mill Street about an assault. The report said Danny Ray Britton, 55, had arrived at the home and started threatening the man inside. It's this guy, right? So, methamphetamines, perhaps. It said Britton swung a machete at the victim, and the victim was trying to block the weapon. He was hit on the arms, and it's kind of notable because the report said that the victim had two severe lacerations, one so deep that it fractured the bone. All right, you get cut with a machete so hard that it'll crack your bones. It's bad. It's savagery. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and just call it barbarianism, all right? And that could be controversial, but it's something to be noted. I've noticed an uptick in that sort of stuff, And I just wanted to draw attention to that. And of course, I got like a couple more bookmarks that I wanted to maybe touch upon real quick. Of course, that's that Hanukkah stabbing, all right, which a lot of people probably heard about, all right, but it's not a very big deal, I guess. It was Grafton Thomas, 37, who pled not guilty to this big old Hanukkah stabbing. All right, and you probably heard about it. All right, storming the Hanukkah celebration at a rabbi's home in Monsey, New York. Here's the thing, I just wanted to touch upon it, and we're gonna go into great detail later. This is the guy. He kind of looks almost like one of them black Hebrew Israelites. I don't know anything about it. That's not to say that if you're a black Hebrew Israelite that you're plotting on everybody. I'm not gonna call you out in that way, but at the same time, here's what I want to stress, and it could be controversial. Y'all, it's a spiritual battle. And it goes beyond words. It goes beyond titles and stuff like that. It's a spiritual battle, and at the end of the day, it's bad, it's good and evil and stuff like that. It's kind of a tug of war. And a lot of people throw certain groups under the bus, and I know it's especially popular about. And I notice especially on the internet, and I gotta ask myself why. It's why it's especially popular to be dogging on Jewish people. All right, and mind you, my background is it's not much Jewish people here in San Antonio, so I'm not personally familiar, but at the same time, I'm not personally insulted. A lot of people feel insulted, especially so-called Christians out there who feel very insulted by it, and they're very suspicious of Jewish people. Just real briefly, I just want to say, like, and we're going to touch upon in great detail, like, that's something that I want to stress is that this kind of underground hatred for Jewish people or mad suspicion of Jewish people is really unfounded and kind of disturbing. It's kind of gross, and I know it's kind of controversial. There's a lot of people look around and see, oh, Jewish people do this. Jewish people are in charge of this. They own this and that, and they get to blaming them. Perhaps this is what this person was doing. I can't say. I don't know his intent or if he's really the one doing it. He said that he's not guilty. I bet you he did it. All right, to be honest, if I had to bet. But he has some sort of hatred for these Jewish people. And a lot of people I've been noticing it's popular to do it on the internet. And I can't say if it's robots or who's doing it. And it just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, a lot of people take offense to it and they say, well, Jews, for example, are rejecting Jesus. And we're going to talk about this in great detail. All right, but and especially I want to see what y'all had to say out there. But the thing is, I don't look at it that way, and I can't really look at a group just all one group and expect them to be homogenous and think all the same way. For example, my roots, for example, are in Catholicism. If you consider my ancestry, like on both sides of the family, comes from Catholicism, Catholic stuff. All right, I'm not a fan of the Pope. Just to let y'all know, it's like I don't endorse everything that's Catholic necessarily, but that's where I come from. Right? That's my roots and stuff. Well, I gotta say, in a big way, I'm very Catholic in my nature. Right? It has nothing to do with the Pope, for example. Right? And I don't really like it, and I hear things behind the scenes, and I don't like that stuff, especially. All right, but that's the thing. That's how it goes with Catholics. Same thing with Jewish people. It's like that's how it goes. There might be some Jewish people that really are slipping and tripping. But it's a lot of Jewish people who I am. I don't know very much in life, but I see them on the internet, and I'm friends with them on the internet. We don't have a problem. It doesn't make any difference. You might be out there and say, oh, you got to accept Jesus in order to be saved and go to heaven and stuff. I feel you. I know what you're saying. I kind of get what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like Jesus accepts you. It's kind of the other way around and stuff like that. And all sorts of stuff. It's like, okay, for example, people trip on religion and stuff like that. We're going to talk about it at great length some other time. But they mess around and they trip on religion. Meanwhile, I got to stress that I don't think Jesus was concerned with what your religion is. A lot of people trip on that. And I just blew their minds just by saying that. I don't think Jesus cared at all what your religion is. All right? A lot of people don't want to think about that. But I don't like this, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to be, piling on. And people out there just definitely going to call me a Nazi for all the different ways in which I feel and stuff and my particular opinions. And I'm out here saying that I don't like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. And, I might want to hear a debate out there. Like I said, I want to hear from the James Nolan Masons and the Adam Waffens, if in fact they're out there, and I don't believe that they are. All right. Meanwhile, what's left on my bookmarks, I want to cover this right quick, and we're just about to reach the time limit right now. All right. I appreciate y'all out there, but we're gonna go ahead and wind it down a little bit. All right. There's two things, and I wish I had a little bit more time on it, but there's two things that I want to discuss before we get out of here. And I appreciate y'all. Hopefully, we're gonna be seeing y'all in D Live pretty soon. Work out all those technicals. 22 killed in apparent cartel siege a Mexican town near Texas border. All right, like I said, in and around the Texas border gets very dangerous. All right, especially in certain places, you might mess around and have a gun battle between 22 people getting killed, to include police officers, to include gunmen all over the place, to include some innocent bystanders. If you can imagine it, just put yourself in a situation. We don't have time to discuss all the details, but imagine yourself in that situation. There's a gun battle, like Wild West type style in the movies. There's a gun battle occurring all around your little small town. All right, you don't have a gun. All right, but there's gunfire going off all around you. You can't do nothing about it. You are a sitting duck if ever there was one. And you're just hanging out in this Mexican town, and it just pops off, dude. And there's bullets flying every which way. You don't own a gun. That's the kind of stuff goes on in Mexico. You know, mere miles away from the Texas border, that's the kind of stuff that goes on. If you could imagine, that's what all their gun laws did for them. Meanwhile, let's see. If I just type in church shooting, Texas, it'll probably pop right up. But y'all might have seen this, and I can't remember where exactly around Texas it was, but it's a place called White Settlement, in which there was a shooting took place. And we're not gonna play the video, but I gotta let you know that the video is available on the internet, or if you want to check it out. But I just want to draw attention to it. There's different various headlines, every couple of hours, different headlines. So there's new developments to check out on this one. But okay, this guy, he comes up into the church. Allegedly, there was a guy, and the thing is, what I gotta let y'all know is some things out there happen are wild. There's wild things. More often than not, the wild things are what's really happening, and it's truthful, right? And there's actually calamity and stuff like that. People get killed and hurt. Now, of course, there's different various hoaxes out there in which nobody got hurt, nobody got killed and stuff like that. I can appreciate that. That's true. But in this shooting, I know for a fact, yeah, it was real, all right? He was up in that church, and he shot this person. I think he shot two people. He killed one people, I think. This is what I understand. And then he got shot down dead, dude. Or I'm not sure if he's dead, but he got debilitated. He wasn't shooting nobody anymore, right? Because there was a security guard at that church in Texas, had a gun, went ahead and shot him like a dang marksman, like he was dang Chuck Norris. Shot him, and that's what happened over there, right? Meanwhile, had that person not been there, and mind you, there was different other parishioners in the building. We're going to discuss it more at greater length later, but there was parishioners up in the building who were strapped up and ready for that battle, all right? They lived that life, and they weren't able to get to him, but the security guard did, and there's video of the whole thing going down on the internet, and he shoots him down immediately. So that's how many people get hurt. Had it not been for those people who were strapped up in the church, a lot of more people would have got hurt, for sure. A lot more people would have got hurt. How many? I don't know. You might want to ask Joe Biden and every other Democrat out there that thinks the same way. How many more people would have got hurt if it wasn't for that? Meanwhile, I got to get up out of here, but, I don't think Jesus cares about your religion, number one. And to everybody out there, the note I want to leave off on is, okay, if you're in the church, you should probably be strapped up, all right? In Texas, that's the kind of thing we do. Look, it kind of saved a whole bunch of people's lives right now, all right? And there's just so many examples of that happening. If you're in a synagogue, you might want to get strapped up, right? If you're in a mosque, dude, I wouldn't blame you for getting strapped up. And I know a lot of people will look at that and say, oh, that's very suspicious. Hell no, man, get strapped up, because some people might run up in your place. It's like, if you're strapped up in your mosque, I honestly cannot have a problem with it. I just don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people would be upset by this, but I can't because you're up in your own stuff. Hopefully nobody runs up in your thing. Maybe being a hoaxer, maybe being like an FBI asset or something, maybe being like a wind-up toy, running up in your dang place of worship trying to shoot you. No, you should get strapped up. Everybody should get some rights. We already had the rights. And everybody's getting all strapped up because they know that it could happen to any one of us. We're all in the same boat, and there's no reason to be divided on this, you know. But they try to get us all confused and flustered and stuff like that. It don't really work. But let me check out these comments, and then we got to get out of here. All right, Brenda says, Bart, a lot of violence popping up. Oh, man, there is a lot of violence. I agree, all right? So what did I miss? A lot of violence, a lot of Machete stuff, shootings in Mexico. You're gonna catch it on the replay. We got to get out of here. But shootings in Mexico, where it's just a big Wild West gun shootout. Machete attacks all over the place. There's different various things, all right, that we discussed. Maybe we'll do a better job next time, but also we're going to see if we can't be on D Live next time. Hopefully, and I want to be back on Wednesday, so it's going to either be on D Live if I can't figure it out, and I'm going to see if I can't go through tutorials and everything, y'all. If I can't figure it out or if it's just not working, you can see me on YouTube and I'll be here because I'm not yet kicked off. And it blows my mind, but I appreciate y'all out there. So they killed the stream because he said mosque. Did I say mosque? Ah, those haters. Thing is, man, stay strapped. I appreciate y'all. Look out for your people, and I appreciate it. I'll holler at y'all. It's December the 30th. Oh, man. It's almost 2020.